Good morning, I'm Andrew Zago, and welcome to SCI-Arc Spin Room this Sunday morning, September 8th. I'm joined today by four just about to graduate thesis students in order. Aminatou Fall, to my immediate right. Next to her, Adhavan Sundaramurthy. Next to her, Rebecca Fitzgerald. And at the opposite me on the table, Mahyar Naghshvar. That's not so bad, right? That's okay. Great. They intentionally pick students with difficult names just so I look like a fool. So I know leading up to this, I said that I was going to ask you each to define architecture is blank, blank, blank. But I thought, you know what? We've been going through 2 days of this. And all of the stresses of the discussion, you are done. I've got to leave here and have, yap for a few more hours about architecture. So you've been talking about it all semester. You've been working on it all semester. You're making presentations with family and friends watching. All of these things are done. So I don't want to talk about any of that. Let's talk about your student life and your student life during thesis. So all of the time that you spend pondering architecture, working out your presentation, etc., you do other things, I assume. So what do you do? What would not to pry, but what do you do for relaxation, for your downtime, to unwind between projects, when you occasionally leave the building? Just give us, I think this is going to be much more pertinent to our students that are watching, especially those that are so anxious about SCI-Arc. I mean, other than they look at you and they realize, well, you're alive.
We are.
But beyond that, should we just start?
Sure. I mean, I am here a lot, but I mean, I feel like most people are here a lot. Mahyar, I'm like looking at you. Yeah. But to relax, I mean, sometimes, especially during thesis, there are like moments where it all kind of becomes too much and you just need to go. So my me time is like driving to my favorite restaurants and just going and having a meal by myself, or going home and taking a bath and like binge watching TV, just distracting myself.
Do you want to name
bit.
Names with these restaurants, or you'd rather not?
Sure. I mean, hey,
we'll give them a shout out here.
Sure.
Free plug.
I mean, hey, hole in the wall, pho spot, pho 2000 in Koreatown on Western. It's like a 15-minute drive from SCI-Arc.
We're going to ask them for sponsorship for next year, so it's fine.
And then, there's this Jamaican restaurant in Culver City, really far, but it's worth the drive. Like, the drive is good to like decompress. Called the Jerk Spot. It's great.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's really good.
Well, maybe, Rebecca, do you want to, maybe you could work backwards from restaurants to other activities.
Backwards from Culver City. So my partner is an architect also, so the only relaxing things we do are also architecture
I'm sorry
things.
for you, by the way.
I know, it's like a huge divide. I feel like people who are like, I could never have a partner who's an architect, and people are like, well, you have to, because who are you going to talk to? But yeah, we'll go on trips and things. He's a journalist also, so he has to cover projects that are opening and stuff. And that's relaxing because we get to go see things that are finished, which can be kind of cathartic for somebody who's in the middle of a project that seems like it'll never end, like Thesis. So yeah, we'll drive to San Francisco or something like that, and see buildings that are just finishing, and that's relaxing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And in studio, anything? Any advice or hints for future thesis students?
Well, I think the process was really enjoyable, mostly just because we were always here together, and we've all been so involved in each other's projects, and the projects are so different, but to be able to just get out of your own head for a second and occupy somebody else's intellectual territory is really exciting, and a really like rich way to relax, at least from your own work.
Mahyar, I know you have a lot of interests. So give us an idea of what you're not, even if you're here in the building, what you do besides working on your project.
Watch sports.
Yeah, you're always watching soccer.
Yeah, I'm glad that Premier League started, so we watch soccer. And Formula One is basically watching a sport. And if not a sports, it's Netflix. Thanks God for Netflix. Yeah.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
Adhavan?
I usually read at times and also love to cook. So that's like my getaway thing. If I'm too stressed, I just shut down my computer, go back home, try something new, cook something different. Eat.
Any special recipes you want to share with us?
Of course. I come from this part of India called Chennai, which is the southmost, and we have this cuisine called chettinad. It has different spices to it.
I see.
So it's kind of interesting.
So you make your regional cuisine.
I do.
Do you venture into other things? Polish food or?
Of course. But then one more getaway for me is like there's this restaurant in Artesia. It's like a 45-minute drive from here, so it's like all the way away from SCI-Arc.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm literally out of this little bubble where it's not just SCI-Arc and one Santa Fe, but then there's this restaurant.
Do you want to drop a name?
Oh, of course. The name the name is called Anjappar, and it's the restaurant that's right next to my house back home, and that's the only restaurant that's closest to the cuisine that I'm talking about. So yeah, that's about it.
Fantastic. I want to just get back to this sports. So here's my question. I believe I have very strong feelings about this. I wish I'd have known, since Mahyar was also my advisee. Streaming, television, movies, sports, never, always, an occasional guilty pleasure, or I'm going to lie about it?
Not
While
so
you're
much
working,
sports.
while you're
I'm
working.
working. Well, okay. During model making time, always. Just to have like background noise, personally. Usually it's something ridiculous that I'm like watching. It's never anything, or I'm rewatching something just to have like something in my ears. It's a little distraction. Never anything like new that I want to be paying attention to, really, you know.
She's lying a little bit. Right? We'll get back. I have other accusations for you later.
I watch certain things that I've already watched before, especially when it comes to model making. I cannot handle the silence.
Yeah, exactly.
It just drives us crazy. So
Not music.
it depends. Like
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It depends on.
It depends on it depends on what
Yeah.
you're doing. If it's past 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, then it's just full on bang music, so just to keep me awake, and then I just keep working. Otherwise, it's just something that just fills up my ears.
Yeah.
So any binge watching this summer?
Yes.
Yes.
Recently been binge watching Working Moms on Netflix. It's a Canadian comedy. Hilarious. I highly recommend it. It's so good. Honestly, I haven't laughed that hard at something on TV in a long time.
We were all watching Euphoria also this
Oh,
summer.
yes.
So it was like everybody was on a different episode and we would like
Yeah.
compare notes.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of watching that while I was doing model making. So I like only saw half of it, and it's a really intense show. So I have this like weird kind of like back of my brain memory of it now.
Handmaid's Tale or
Oh,
Big Little Lies? Nothing.
Well, okay, a couple of us were
Nothing too dark.
not during work. I feel like that those shows, because they're so like intense
to
and
watch
like
them.
you just watch them to like, you know, distract yourself. But we were towards the beginning of the semester. A couple of us were also like gathering every Sunday to watch Game of Thrones, which is fun. Just to have something to talk about during.
And then at the end, you talked about all of those parents who apparently named their daughter Khaleesi before the final episode came out. Wait until the final episode. That's the lesson. Okay, Rebecca, how about you?
Besides Euphoria, I actually was watching Handmaid's
First
Tale.
off, all of you watch stuff while you're working. We've settled that. Okay.
Yeah,
I won't
but
tell you what
only-
my opinion is.
Only while doing like really rote, like repetitive stuff where I just have to make sure that I keep going. So like if I focus entirely on the task, then I'll just want to switch and do something else. I was watching Handmaid's Tale for a while, but it's like, I don't know if that kind of existential dread is helpful when you're trying to motivate yourself to do a project. So I had to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said you watched Handmaid's Tale also?
I didn't watch Handmaid's Tale, but Big Little Lies I watched. Watch almost everything on Netflix this summer. Yeah.
So you're just a media consumer.
Yeah. Yes, it just helps me focus because I need somebody constantly talking into my ear, so I can focus on my own work and not my surroundings.
He's like
Yeah.
the person to get suggestions.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'd be like, hey Mahyar, what should I watch in the film? I mean, he just gives me a list of things.
Mind hunters.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
great.
Just
I was watching Mindhunters and How I Get Away with Murder. Thanks to Mahyar for the suggestion.
So this is maybe related to the first question. We got into some restaurants and things, but a lot of times you're sitting at your desk, you're working, and there's just not time to go out for a restaurant. So, Thesis Studio snacks.
Thesis Studio snacks, popcorn, and stroopwafels.
Oh yeah.
And the popcorn, this would be a studio microwave?
No, like
Just
the
cold.
the store bought like
Yeah.
popcorn
Cold
and
popcorn.
yeah, cold popcorn.
Not Orville Redenbacher.
No.
Do they still make that?
I think they do. I'm pretty sure.
But not that.
Yeah, no, not that stuff.
And shrimp?
Shrimp.
Waffles.
Oh, the shrimp chips. Yes. The
I thought you said that. Did I just make that up?
No, stroopwafels.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I
Sorry.
have had shrimp chips at my desk before.
Like, how did you know that?
A stroopwafel, that's the Dutch thing with the caramel in
Yes,
between?
yeah.
Where do you get, that's not like something you get near SCI-Arc, is it?
Yes, it is. So the one grocery store we have like walking distance. It's very close.
Happens to
Is
carry
Where
them.
all
Grow.
our money goes.
exactly.
Oh, this one.
Grow right across the street.
We're not going to buzz market them, okay? Another grocery store near here.
Another grocery store. That's usually where you run to like grab little things or the vending machines. Depends on the time of day.
How are the vending machines here?
They're all right.
Yeah.
They're okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your?
I go
no
for
snacks.
No, I go for a split scoop of chocolate chip cookie dough and chocolate gooey brownie from Salt and Straw.
Fancy.
So you can't keep those at your desk.
That's true.
You don't keep chips at your desk.
No,
Just curious.
it's-
Gummy
it's,
bears,
Cheetos.
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 Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Dried mangoes, also from the grocery store.
That's
like
very-
the only thing that keeps me going.
That's very commendable. That's very healthy.
Well, no, because they're like $20 a pound.
Oh, I
so
see.
it's-
Well, still.
Yeah, it's terrible.
They should sponsor.
Yeah.
There should be a prize, a Grow
Really?
Thesis prize. Okay, Adhavan.
I'm Iranian, so it's a lot of saffron tea and pistachio.
Pistachios.
Yeah.
This is right. But no snack foods.
No.
No,
It's just
no.
whatever finding.
Well, this gets me to my own little anecdote because someone from my office donated to my thesis group a gigantic Costco-sized tub of red vine licorice, and it turns out I don't think you were so into Myra, and it turns out a lot of my thesis students were from mainland China, and they absolutely could not understand an idea of red licorice, and really thought this was way outside of what licorice is supposed to be. And then slowly, by the end of the semester, it was gone. And I said, Yolanda, where did it go? And says, I think Natu ate it.
Okay,
True or false?
mostly true. I'm pretty sure I spread the word that they were free because I think everyone had assumed it belonged to someone, even though there was like a free
It was
sticker,
disowned.
like piece of tape on it. I was like, guys, help me out! Like I can't eat all of these myself. I have like the biggest sweet tooth, so every time I would walk by, me and Yolanda would make eye contact. I'm struggling to open the container, and like exactly.
And I know it starts off kind of like one of your model materials, but by the end it's more like a chip, right? It's like a brittle, broken thing that you can't. Okay, all right. Well, I'm getting near the end of my questions, so I'm just going to ask, and well, you can go serious if you want, but what would be your, let's say, non-project related advice to students that are going to be going into thesis next year?
Off the top of my head, I'm gonna need a second.
You'll
Anyone
get a
else wanna
second.
start?
Mahyar always has advice. We'll start there. We'll work backwards this time.
If you don't know what you want to do for thesis, it's fine. You will figure it out during the process. You just need to stay focused and like work hard every day. That's what I would say.
Thank you.
I I would say, I guess it's related, to stick to your guns. I think a lot of people who really like dug in, even when there was maybe some resistance in the beginning, it seems like they, they collected people around them, and like maybe they had an idea that didn't fully make sense, but you flesh it out over time and people start to get on board, and the more individual projects there are, and I think there are a lot this year, the more exciting it is to come and see all these different perspectives.
Thank you.
Mine would be do not work from home, work from studio, because most of my ideas came from the conversations that I had with my peers, which helped me a lot in keeping myself pushing through the entire thesis. Do not work from home.
Fantastic.
I guess my advice would be know when to walk away, like when to step away, because I know sometimes you like get tunnel vision with your concept or this part of your project that you're trying to work on, and can be incredibly frustrating just for like mental health's sake. Like knowing when to like pause and like remove yourself and come back to it with fresh eyes, is good.
Well, I think we just have a couple minutes left. Just one, okay, so we're going to have graduation shortly. Between then, whether it's an afternoon, a day, a month, a week, and when you start doing something that's, let's say, putting your education to use, starting a job, looking for a job, whatever that might be, what are you going to do?
Oh, wow. I don't know yet. I mean, for me, I think
literally tomorrow. What are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do?
Literally
like,
tomorrow.
What are you going to do before you have to get serious, whether it's an hour or whether it's a month?
My apartment.
Okay.
And spending quality time with my cat. She's very, very lonely lately.
Okay. Get some good amount of sleep. Yeah. Well, just rest well. Yeah.
I'm going to be here tomorrow morning giving my thesis presentation to my undergrad class that I'm teaching with Devin. But between graduation tonight and then I'll probably just have a really good night's sleep.
We need to move out by 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Sorry. Can we lie and just say, I'm going to go to
I think
Yosemite
I'm packing overnight.
and I'm going to finally take up batik dyeing. Well, this is fantastic. Mahyar, Rebecca, Adhavan, and Natu, congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
A big round of applause and thank you.
Thanks.